Hello everyone, I'm Father Ronan Newbold, speaking to you from our Holy Name community here in Houston, Texas. And I want to speak to you today about solitude in this time of the coronavirus. St. Paul of the Cross asked his followers to involve themselves in prayer, penance, and solitude when they were not on the road preaching and working in parishes. So it's not only you and I who have to think about this solitude, but it's a good time for us to do it now. In his recent book, How We Love, Brother John Mark Falkenhayn, a psychologist and a Benedictine brother of St. Meinrad Archabbey in St. Meinrad, Indiana, he has a subtitle section entitled The Skill of Cultivating Solitude. I want to talk briefly about that. There are three elements involved in cultivating solitude. The first one is increasing a tolerance for time spent alone. And as this virus continues its course, we may have to continue spending more time at home alone than we might think. Brother John continues, this may contradict our earlier insistence on being people who embrace community and draw support and accountability from human relationships. But these two parts of life, community and solitude, are not mutually exclusive. Rather, they are complementary and best held in balance with one another. So, getting to use time spent alone is the beginning of the qualifications for cultivating silence. Secondly, cultivating solitude takes discipline and intention. And that's what we were brought up with our daily horarium and the prayer that was put in that horarium. Secondly, discipline and intention. What Brother John is saying here is that we have to set goals for ourselves. In other words, we have to build time for solitude in our daily schedule. It means committing to turning off all those devices and gadgets that distract us from our contact with God. This working to tolerate time with God, to be with God alone, that is how I'm going to define solitude. Thirdly, the requirement may require penance. St. Paul of the Cross mentions three things: prayer, penance, and solitude. So this may be where the penance comes in. It means letting go of all of those projects, plans, activities, and studies that we may think important. This can leave us lonely. We suffer. We do penance. At the same time, though, we Christians must remember that we are never alone. We read in the last sentence in Matthew's Gospel, and behold, I am with you always until the end of the age. The process to remember is that through the gate of loneliness, we arrive in the garden of solitude. Here is a summary of what I have just said. To cultivate solitude requires three things. First, a tolerance of time spent alone. Secondly, discipline and intention, to set a time of the day when we want to be alone with God. And the third requirement is willingness to undergo some suffering. St. Paul of the Cross called it penance, which is that grief and sadness that accompanies letting go of all of those plans, projects, and activities that we may think more important. Thank you.